Have you ever wondered why the chosen ones of God face such tough battles, especially when it comes to the spirit of lust? It's no accident. The enemy knows the power, influence, and divine purpose you carry, and he'll try anything to knock you off course. Lust isn't just a temptation. It's a weapon aimed directly at your destiny, your testimony, and your relationship with God. In today's message, we're going to uncover 5 deep reasons why the spirit of lust fights so hard against God's chosen ones. These insights will not only open your eyes, but also give you the wisdom to stand strong in your calling. If you find this message helpful, share your thoughts in the comments and pass it on to someone who might need encouragement today. Let's help each other overcome and walk in victory. Have you noticed how distractions always seem to show up at the most important moments in your life? When you're just about to experience a breakthrough, when you're on the edge of stepping into your calling, something always appears out of nowhere to pull your attention away. That's not a coincidence. It's a calculated attack, and one of the enemy's most clever weapons is the spirit of lust. Think about those who have fallen before you. Many people with extraordinary callings, tremendous gifts, and abilities have been sidetracked by lustful desires. They became so focused on temporary pleasures that they lost sight of their mission. In the end, their strength was taken, their purpose delayed, and their potential cut short. Their downfall wasn't because they lacked power. It was because they allowed themselves to be distracted. Lust doesn't just want to entertain you. It wants to enslave you. It wants to dominate your thoughts so completely that you can no longer hear God's voice. When you're weighed down by these distractions, you're no longer a threat to the kingdom of darkness. Your purpose is too important to be sidelined by lust. You were created for greatness. God has placed gifts, talents, and assignments inside of you that the world needs. The enemy knows this, which is why he's working overtime to keep you distracted. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you've been walking with God for years. You've seen his hand in your life, guiding you, protecting you, blessing you. People around you know you as a child of God. They respect you not just for what you say, but for how you live. Your life has become a testimony of God's goodness and power. Consider the many spiritual leaders who have fallen in the public eye. These were people deeply connected to God, respected, admired, and followed by many. Yet when they gave in to lust, the consequences were devastating. Their sin wasn't just personal, it became public. Their actions were exposed, bringing shame not just to themselves, but to everything they represented. Their mistakes didn't just affect them. Their testimony was tarnished, and critics gained ammunition to mock everything they stood for. The spirit of lust fights to destroy your testimony because your life is a reflection of God's glory. When you walk in purity, you show the world that it's possible to live a life that honors God. You become a beacon of hope, a living example of what it means to be transformed by the power of Christ. But when you fall, the enemy uses it to discredit not just you, but the God you serve. The spirit of lust isn't just about momentary pleasure or temporary mistakes. It's a calculated weapon designed to wedge itself between you and your Creator. Its ultimate goal is to create a spiritual gap so wide that you feel distant, disconnected, and unworthy to approach God in prayer. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how after falling into temptation, you suddenly find it harder to pray? How the Bible feels heavier to pick up? How worship songs that once moved your soul now seem like just noise? That's not a coincidence. It's a strategy. The enemy uses the spirit of lust to rob you of your intimacy with God, replacing it with guilt, shame, and silence. When lust has its grip on you, it can make you feel like God is a million miles away. You might even start questioning if he still loves you or if you've gone too far to be forgiven. The truth is that sin doesn't move God away from you. It blinds you to his presence. The barrier isn't permanent, but it's real, and the longer you stay in that sin, the thicker that wall becomes. But remember, nothing, absolutely nothing, can separate you from the love of God. The spirit of lust is not just after your emotions or your flesh. It's after your spiritual authority. It knows that if it can weaken your authority, it can strip you of your ability to stand firm in the battles of life. You are a chosen one of God, a soldier in his army, and the enemy is terrified of what you can accomplish when you walk in the fullness of your authority. Sin, especially lust, opens a door, a crack in your armor that the enemy uses to attack you where it hurts most. Think about this. Have you ever tried to pray after falling into sin? That feeling of hesitation, that sense of unworthiness, that little voice whispering. Who are you to pray? Who are you to command anything when you just messed up? That's exactly how the spirit of lust works. It doesn't just lure you into sin. It then accuses you, condemns you, and silences your voice in the spiritual realm. Your authority in Christ is one of your greatest weapons. It's what allows you to declare healing over your family, to speak life into dead situations, to rebuke the devourer from your finances, and to intercede for your community. The enemy knows this. He knows that a believer walking in authority is a force to be reckoned with. That's why he targets you with lust, because it's one of the most effective ways to rob you of your confidence and boldness. The spirit of lust doesn't just want to trap you in sin. It wants to imprison you in a never-ending cycle of guilt and shame. It whispers lies into your mind, making you feel unworthy of love, grace, and forgiveness. It's not enough for this spirit to tempt you into falling. It thrives on keeping you down, making you feel like you'll never rise again. Picture this. You just fallen into the same sin you promised you'd never commit again. Maybe it was late at night when you thought no one would know, or maybe it was a moment of weakness in a relationship you know isn't right. As soon as it's over, you feel the weight of regret crash down on you. You hear a voice in your head saying, "Look at you. How could anyone ever forgive someone like you?" That voice isn't truth, it's the accuser. The enemy is using the spirit of lust to chain you to shame. Think about those who have fallen and been restored. Many spiritual individuals have made terrible mistakes, publicly, blatantly, at moments when their integrity was needed most. If anyone had reasons to be bound by shame, it was these people. But the beautiful thing about grace is that it doesn't leave us in our failure. It restores us. Forgiveness reaches down and lifts us up, showing us that our failures don't disqualify us from our calling. And your mistakes don't disqualify you either. Remember, this battle against lust isn't about shame. It's about your destiny. You have the power to break free and walk in complete freedom. If this message has helped you, drop a comment below and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Together, we can overcome. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more encouragement.